So this morning, the New Orleans Saints traded up with the Chicago Bears to go and get Nick Saldiveri at number 103 to kick off round 4 of the 2023 NFL Draft. My name is Trey Stroud. Welcome in today's show. We have a big draft breakdown to get to. We're going to give you some draft analysis, some draft recap, and just my thoughts on this pick as a whole, as well as break down the trade details for the Saints and the Chicago Bears. But Nick Saldiveri, he's a guy that you're bringing in to be a depth piece, I believe, because if you remember, the Saints drafted Trevor Penning last year in the first round. However, you still do have quality players on the offensive line, like Ryan Ramczyk is your starting right tackle. That's not going to change here. However, I don't know if the Saints are confident in Storm Norton being a true, right tackle 2 behind Ryan Ramczyk. And I also think that it could be a potential not replacement, but he could potentially fill in behind James Hurst if Trevor Penning has injury issues as well. So in terms of the scouting report, he's a sleeper prospect who moves well and tested like it too. He has good balance along with an ability to feel the rush well. He has length issues and it could lead to start at guard. So our guy, Tom Downey, our draft expert here, had him as the number 9 overall offensive tackle and the number 111 overall prospect, meaning the Saints got decent value for him here. So, Who Dat Nation, I want you to grade the pick for me. Type A, B, C, D, or F. Nick Saldiveri, the offensive tackle out of Old Dominion. We got a lot more to break down here in just a second, and I do want to take a look at the trade details whenever we get a chance. Producer Seeps. If we don't have the graphic, it's totally cool. That being said, the Saints, they went ahead and traded up for Nick Saldiveri. I don't know if I would have traded up for this guy. You had players like Keely Ringo. You had guys like Henry Toto. You had Ivan Pace Jr. There's Adetomiwa Adebawore also available. There's a plenty of players that I think the Saints could have gone and drafted here, but I think that it doesn't mean that this is a bad move because Nick Saldiveri is just one of those guys who's going to come in and put in that work. He was a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. He was a number 199 overall offensive lineman when he was being recruited in 2018, and then number 76 recruit in North Carolina when he was being recruited. I think that he's a guy that, can be a fringe starter. He can maybe move up and fill in for when guys are missing due to injury. Maybe he can move around and play all over the offensive line. I think that he is a player that the Saints were high on, but I don't know if I would have traded up for him like I said a little bit earlier. But the Athletic's Dane Brugler had this to say about Saldiveri. Saldiveri needs to refine his aiming points and recovery skills to combat NFL strength, but his mental approach and athletic body control will keep his head above water. He's a scheme-diverse NFL prospect capable of backing up multiple positions on the offensive line, and that's something I really like because, as we know, Andrus Peat, he has injury issues. There is also concerns as to whether or not Cesar Ruiz could be a long-term guy. There is also not a backup for Eric McCoy currently on the roster, so, maybe he could help out there. If he's that versatile and he could potentially fill in at center, that's also a thing. But in terms of the trade for the Saints and the Bears, so the Saints move up to get 103, but they give up, they swapped at number 115, and they gave up one of the fifth-round picks at number 165 overall. So that's just the trade details, the trade alert, the trade package, just so that way you know what the Saints are going to be dealing with with the rest of the picks. And Who Dat Nation, be sure to subscribe for the best NFL draft coverage. This is the number 1 spot to get all of your NFL news, Saints updates, Saints rumors, all sorts of fun, interactive content by Saints fans for Saints fans. So be sure to hit that sub button, turn on your notifications, and lock us in for analysis on all the picks, analysis on the Saints after the picks, the UDFA alert, and then even throughout the rest of the offseason and in the regular season, live shows, interactive content, and the most fun Saints channel on the internet. Subscribe and lock us in today. So for Nick Saldiveri, his combine and pro day results, his 40-yard dash, 5.21 seconds, 10-yard split at 1.7. His vertical has 31 inches, broad jump, 9 feet, 3 inches. Agility, he did the shuttle in 4.69, very nice. And then he put up 24 reps on the bench press. So here is the Saints selections thus far in the draft. You took Brian Brzee, at number 29 overall, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. He's just going to be very versatile. He's going to play all over. He's going to come in and put in that work starting day one. Isaiah Foskey, the edge rusher out of Notre Dame. He is the sack leader for the Fighting Irish. I'm really excited about Foskey. And the thing that I really like about him is he wanted to be a New Orleans Saint. He was desperate to be a New Orleans Saint. And Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen gave him that call. The video of him on Twitter is just awesome. Kendre Miller, the running back out of TCU. I love this pick. I think it's a great pick. Tajay Spears was available, but I really think Kendre Miller has a great upside that a lot of Saints fans aren't really thinking about because they had such a big scope on Tajay Spears, including me. I'll admit it. Yesterday, I was like, oh, why not Tajay? But the more I looked into Kendre Miller, the more stats, the more highlights I looked at, I was very, very pumped about him. And then Nick Saldiveri at round 4, number 103 overall. Just some more strengths and weaknesses for Saldiveri as I look at some of my draft notes. He needs to unlock his hips to generate more torque in his lower body. But in terms of his strength, he has a square frame. He's very stout, and he has good length, large hands. He also can keep his head on a swivel pre and post snap, which is pretty interesting for the Saints. So I also think in terms of their next few picks, you got to go get a linebacker here. You got to go get a linebacker. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. I really thought this pick was going to be a linebacker or it was going to be Adetomiwa Adebawore. So my top linebacker is Ivan Pace Jr. I've talked about him on this channel before. The guy is an absolute bullet. He only plays at 110 miles an hour. He doesn't move backwards that well, but he moves forward like a damn train coming through the offensive line. He is going to hit, and he is going to hit hard. Also, Henry Toto, he is the linebacker out of Alabama. A lot of people are high on him. He could also go to the New Orleans Saints. Noah Sewell out of Oregon, another linebacker to keep an eye out for. Also, some wide receivers you could potentially go and get. But who do you want to draft next? There's still wide receivers on the board such as A.T. Perry or a guy like Chris Jones out of Purdue. And there's even a lot of intriguing players still on the defensive line that you could go boost that line with. You could go get a safety or a DB. Or hell, you could even go get a quarterback in the 7th round like Stetson Bennett, Max Duggan. Maybe go get DTR with one of your picks. I think that would be a fun pick to have as well. But who do you want to draft next? Who Dat Nation? Let me know. And also just hit me up on Twitter at TraceGerard48 for more Saints content. And in terms of the top wide receivers available, Tyler Scott, he's an absolute speedster and an absolute burner. I think he's an intriguing player that the Saints could go and target. A.T. Perry out of Wake Forest, like I mentioned, I really like him. Parker Washington, a wide receiver out of Penn State, and Charlie Jones, the wide receiver out of Purdue. Could you go get Julian Edelman 2.0, and I'm absolutely 100% saying that because he is a white guy playing wide receiver. So it's fun. We like to have fun here. Don't get too butthurt over it. That being said, hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Hope you guys have already subscribed, but if you haven't already, just one more friendly reminder. Lock us in, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and if you made it to the end of the video, hit the thumbs up icon and type squad. So that way I know you are a real one and that you are a true Who Dat Nation member. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend so far. We have more videos to come today, so be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you later.